Okay, hello everyone. So today I want to talk about Lianorn Masques. So there's a player that managed to get to top 32 with Lianorn Masques, and this is the order build with the grade 0 order and the grade 1 order. And Chris from Different Fight tweeted about it, so it makes me wonder whether it's really that good, and I try to make it. It's not a perfect copy, like there will be different starters and different triggers, but and the essence is the same, so I'll try to explain why the deck is good. So we'll start with right line. So with the right line, we're going to use the Zorga right line. The reason for that is that this is basically something like a combo deck. So with the Onnen Kusari Soul Plus 1 Draw 2, it will enable us to access the piece more easily. And with the grade 2, we can salvage one order from drop. So after you place the order on your first turn, you can just fetch it back and play it again on turn 2 to make it more consistent in the first 2 turns, because the deck is really aggressive on the first 2 turns. So what makes the deck different? First of all is that we got this card. Sorry, I don't really remember card name, so Sanserite, I think, yeah. So basically she's just a cycle card specifically for Lianorn and what was it again? Magnolia. And the second effect is that you can put this card from drop to the bottom of your deck, and if you persona this turn, choose one unit, it becomes 20k. If you're not persona, you choose one unit and it becomes 15k. So what makes this special is that if you use the Masques effect, so going second using the Mask effect, you're going to get persona on turn 3. Then using her skill, you buff one of your rear guard. Anything is fine, honestly. So this becomes 20k. And then you're going to use this order. So assuming the ideal field, it would be the back row is anything, honestly, but we're going to want 2 of the Rosarium Fairy. So the perfect board would be something like this, and let me calculate the power. So this is 10k persona. This becomes 20k due to this. Then if you play this order, there are 5 grade 1 or less, so this gains 25k. Now this is 45, and when Rosarium attack, it can copy this. So 45 plus 10, 55 plus 8 is 63. On turn 3, you're going to attack 63, Vanguard swing, this is also huge, Twin Drive, plus 1, Resistance 2, and another 63. So it's going to be a 5 attack with 60k or more, and that's really little. So this is a blind second deck. And what's interesting is that the more you have this card on your drop, the more dangerous it becomes, because there's no once per turn clause on this, and you can just use it again and again. So let's say we have 3 in drop. We're going to make still the same. The one in the back row becomes 20k, shoot the order becomes 45, then use the other 2 and pump Rosarium to become 20k. And now it's just impossible to guard. Even with 63, it's already impossible to guard. This becomes 40, 55, 75. So 75 will swing for 4 times with no trigger whatsoever. So why is this good? I'm going to introduce the other cards now. So we are running 7 cycles. This is energy blast cycles to draw. This is also energy blast to draw. This use counter blast or energy blast. This use soul or energy blast. And the reason why it's important because we're running the ace unit. So if you draw into an ace unit somewhere, either from the turn draw or from the soul blast 1 draw 2, then you just change the cost to counter blast or soul blast so that you can use EB3 to use her on turn 2. Now these two cycles, I think I've already explained enough about this card. The reason why Brave Shooter is really good in this deck, but already bringing 3 though, the reason is that on place if you persona right, which means that with Masques, this ability is accessible on turn 3. If you persona right, you can add 1 card from drop with different name and it's not PG, great or less, normal or order, add it to hand, discard 1. So you energy blast 3 or you counter blast 1, you add 1 card from drop to hand, you discard 1, and the best card to add is basically you discard. Petir. What is it? In English name? I don't know. So on place discard 1, put 1 order from deck to drop, then it can be played from drop. But this is on place from hand, and this can fetch this to hand, and then you just call it, discard 1, and play the order. So this will increase the consistency of the deck even more. So what are the orders that we're bringing? So first of all is the one that we want to play on turn 3, right? Choose 1 rear guard, plus 5k for red 1 or less rear guard. So fulfilled will become plus 25. Playing the Mask of Dragon, yes, of course, because we're playing the Masques. We're playing the plus 10k to all 5k, and this makes the deck really strong turn 1 and turn 2 going second. And we're playing Mystery Habitat, and lastly is the Fire Regalis. So other than Fire Regalis, everything is accessible from Petir, so it becomes really flexible to play the deck. And the last part that we're bringing is the Mask Searcher, but really this is just an emergency button. If you don't get the mask, you can also drop the mask from this card. So yeah, this doesn't really came out that much, but when it does, it does. So I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay and what we're going to prioritize. So basically the deck needs 2 Rosarium, at least 1 of her, at least 1 of him, and a Mask and a Masques. And Mask is like questionable, like you can drop it from him. So this is what the whole deck needs. You need to discard this, you need to have 2 Rosarium, you need 1 order, and you need Masques in hand. So that's what we're going, that's our game plan. I'm going to show a little bit of test play, I think. And for triggers, I think we're running 3 draw effects, and the list that won't run 4 crit effects, but I think 5k trigger is a lot more feasible in this case. So I'm running 8 5k crits, vanilla crits, and the draw is still a draw effect, but I'm tempted to try to use the normal draw, the 5k draw. So this is not that bad hand, we're just going to mulligan 1. So we got this, we got 3 of the card we need, and we just keep this because we discarded this become draws. I forgot to bring my energy counter. I'm sorry. Oh wait, forgot to draw. Anyway, so let's say this is not that good of a hand, to be honest, because we're running the Zorga right line, so we need to have an order on turn 3. No, on turn 1. Sorry. So let's start the test. I'm using these sleeves for energy. So this is going second deck. So going second, we draw. We discard the cycle, right? Going second, draw 1. Gain 3 energy. Energy plus 3. Draw 1. Vanguard skill. So plus 1. Draw 2. Okay, we managed to get some orders. We're going to discard 1. So what's next is that we're going to be on the offensive side because this deck is an aggro deck, to be honest. So we're going to call this one. Discarding... no, we need to discard another card. So let's say I'm going to discard the cycle because we do have another cycle. And we're going to ditch some order. I usually ditch Masques if I have the flower in hand. Otherwise, we're going to drop the flower. There's also another option of dropping Mystiarch Habitat to fetch next turn with the Greater Outline. But we already have one Rosarium, so I think it's best to just drop the Masques. And we're going to do some aggro here. So Rosarium calls to here. We're going to retire 1. And we're going to make 2 10 tokens. And then we're going to call a trigger here. There's also the option of going like this. And then we just play the order. So all units with 5k original power gains 10k, and on hit it goes back to hand. So this already swings for 30k on turn 1. This will be a no guard. The reason why I prefer this is because this will be 2 free damage, but if you're going to go this way, this is 23, and that's if the opponent gets a damage trigger, it's still guardable. But yeah, let's say we're going this way and Rosarium stays in the back because we only have one Rosarium right now, so this just swings. The opponent no guards, draft check, critical trigger, crit Vanguard, power to raid guard. Now this becomes 40k. Of course it's going to be no guarded, and hit it goes back to hand. The opponent is at 3 damage right now. Opponent swings, you just take no guard and stand and draw. We're just going to discard this cycle again and write the Zorga right to greater right line, then energy blast 3 to draw 1. Then using his skill, we're going to fetch this flower again because we have so many triggers in hand. And the only thing we need to do is just call this, shoot the order again. And this just becomes really huge. Well, usually this one won't hit because this is 23. And if the opponent is on grade 2, they just got with 15k. Then we swing this. 25 probably will be no guarded. Rosarium, perfect. And this swings for 30. And I think it would hit. And then we just take their first great return. Just don't really think and just you can take everything because you can win on the next turn either way. So stand draw. We get the order, really nice. This is really a perfect test hand. Trust me. but we already have this one as well, so we can just discard this order and write the grade 3 Lianorn. We're going to switch this. Lianorn skill. This one. Draw 1. Oh, that's an interesting draw. We're going to use this to do some deck tanning. Energy base 3. Plus 5k. Check top 7. I'm going to ditch one. So we're ditching the habitat. And we're going to revive one. Honestly, this doesn't really matter. There's nothing good to be revived anyway. And then next, we're going to use this to discard one and ditch the grade 1 order. So we're doing some deck thinnings at the cost of your hand, but we're going to win on turn 3 either way, so yeah. This can also search for Rosarium. This can revive Rosarium. We can ditch Rosarium on the right discard as well. So there are really so many things you can do with this deck. So we're going to use the Masques skill to Persona, right? And then we're going to hold this here. And we're going to use the order that was put to drop from Kutir, goes to bottom. Just this one gains 25. Now we have 2 of the Leonor cycle, and we're on Persona turn, so this just goes to bottom. This becomes 20k. And I usually save this for next turn, but if you're greedy, you can actually put this and just one, it becomes 20k, but it's not really needed. So we swing. That's you can actually also use the Masques skill to bind Lianorn and revive one grade 1. So yeah, getting 2 Rosarium is not that hard for this deck, and this just swings for 63 on turn 3, 63 Vanguard swing, force boost of the 3 units, twin drive, draw trigger, draw, power 2. Power always go to the back row, right? Second check. Draw trigger. Okay. Power. Draw 1. Vanguard skill. Plus 1. Stand 2 units. This becomes a disaster. 20, 20, 40, 50, 65, 75. Yeah, 83. 83 and 83. That's how the deck works. So it's really strong going second. Most of the decks right now is blind first, right? Because I don't think Strides have a good win rate at this meta. So this is a really good deck to try. Is it expensive though? I don't know, because like I play Stoichia, so I already have everything and I just decided to build it. But this feels really weird, honestly. The deck is like, when it works it's good, but when it doesn't work, it's a disaster. The gap is really huge between when it works and when it don't. So we're going to try again, and hopefully we get a bad hand to explain the reason why I said things like that. Okay, this is not really good. We're going to make on 3. Why am I keeping this Misty Arc? Is because I want to ensure we're going to get Rosario, and we have 4 orders. This is really bad. This is a really bad hand, but we'll see what we can do. So we're going second, right? This deck draws a lot of cards, so it can fix hands, hopefully. So draw. We're going to discard the Moss, and right, energy charge 3, going second row 1, Vanguard skill, Soulless 1, draw 2 cards, and discard 1. Not really that good, so we're going to use the Habitat now, or there's also the option of going like this. So go to good here, discard the Habitat, and we're bringing 2 Habitat, so we can just ditch the second one now. Why am I doing it like this? So if I use Habitat and gains Rosarium, we can get a target to retire. So this goes to drop, then we're going to use it from drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get a Rosarium. You can really see, you cannot really see the drop. I'm sorry, I'm gonna buff away a little bit. I rarely do these kind of videos anymore, so. And the one from the drop that split goes to bottom. Rosariums. Skill activates. Call 2 tokens. And just be going swing with 2 columns right now. No trigger. And open stack, you just take no guard. Stand roll. Okay, perfect. We get Lianorn Masques. This is really important because if you don't get this by turn 3, you're going to use the Masques to search for this, and you cannot use this order, so you won't get that huge power spike on turn 3. Going to discard the cycle. And right, so Energy Blast. Just 3, Blast 3, draw 1. Then we're going to fetch the order again. I'll take the Habitat so we can keep going to cycle through the decks using the Mysterious Habitat. Check top 7. Is it 7? Yeah. We're going to call this unit. This unit is really strong in this deck because checking top 7 to pick 1 card, put the drop, and resurrect 1 is toolboxing to the max. So it called outside the battle phase, so we're going to make her against 5k, Energy Blast 3, check top 7. Okay, and we get our second Rosarium. Everything is going really well from that disaster of a hand. I'm going to revive the Rosarium, not using the skill. And we just swing. And swing with 15 first, swing with 15, ref check, no trigger. And this is 23. So 8 unit can be used on grade 2 turns, and that's really helpful. Now, opponent's going to the turn 3. So we check an OT, but even if we don't check an OT, I think we should survive. And stand draw. But if we got an OT or we don't get counterblast, you need to be careful. So just 3, discard the cycle. Right, Lianorn, cycle effect, Energy Blast 3, draw 1. It's not cycle, is it? So we cannot use Lianorn's Counterblast 1, draw 1 here because Masques won't be able to use her counterblast later. So we're just going straight to Persona, right? And then against 10k, this switch Rosarium to the front. Now we're going to do some deck thinning, so this doesn't use any purpose anymore. Discard the Get Wallet, and we're just going to ditch the Snow Order. And we're going to use it. Goes to the bottom. Just this becomes plus 25. So if we don't have this, then this becomes 33, 43 plus 8. That's 51. I mean, it's still huge. It's still huge. So this deck is really just huge on turn 3. So we're using this. This becomes 20k. Now everything becomes 63. And your hand is like, nah, not buying from this shit. 63, Vanguard swings, all boost, twin drive, heal. Probably we're not going to heal anyway. The opponents get huge damage. Second check, draw. So you see that the trick also thins out quite well, and it's totally possible to check 2 triggers. And this just becomes like the last demonstration. 20, 40, 50, 65, 75, 83. That's how the deck works. Now, is it a good deck? I don't know, honestly. Like, this feels like a 50-50 deck. Probably would get a better result if played by a strong player that understand how the deck works. Me, honestly, I don't really understand how this deck works. This is as is built from the winning list, so I guess needs some time to get used to it. And there's also the new cards, right? The new generic grade 1 with 5k, the elf. And I don't know if it will fit here. I don't think it will fit, but yeah, it also helps with the draw and the 2 5k on one column, so you can just shoot the flower order and gain huge attack on turn 1. Do note that we're only bringing one of these because this is not the main game plan. But if you have a bad hand with lot of triggers and a Kutir is it? I don't know the English pronunciation of this. Kutir. Yeah, you just call him, discard 1, this to drop from deck, goes to bottom, use it. Everything gets 10k. It makes your bad hand becomes a really good hand. Habitat is there to make sure you get 2 Rosarium Fairy. And I think we haven't talked about the Fire Regalis, right? So why are we bringing Fire Regalis in this build? Even though we need lots of cards, lots of base, why are we bringing like Caliber or Twin Cast maybe? There's a reason for that. So the grade 1 skill discards an order. The grade 3 skills, Leonor, also can discard 1. I mean, if you have a full board, it's better to just discard 1, right? But discarding is a minus, but if you discard, it's not a minus. Discard. Rip English. And there's also Kutir that discard 1 to different order from deck to drop, right? So you can just call this, discard this, and it's all value. And Fire Regalis effect is not playing an order, so you can use it, check top 5, call 1, and then play an order. So it doesn't take the play order once per turn, while also digging for a deck. So let's say you use this, check top 5, and you get Rosarium, that's perfect. And even if you don't get Rosarium, right, if you get Ace unit, that's even better. Or let's say you just get the what else? You just get this one. You just call this and you call it over something, it goes to drop, then skill becomes life again. And I think that's it for the explanation of the deck. Hopefully it will spark some discussion and questions for the English speaking community, because like, are we there yet? I know I play in Southeast Asia, so I'm playing the Japanese version, but I think the English-speaking community, the EN version of Vanguard, haven't seen this deck. I mean, it's there, but it feels like a really niche deck, so hopefully it helps to show you guys what is it all about with the Leonor Masques. Is it better than Vivace? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you don't really have that much hand in this deck. You draw a lot, but you have a lot of orders. You have lots of combo piece. So if you get aggro, then GG, I guess. And we also need to consider, like, if we're hitting, the opponent gets a damage OT, then the game just closes and you don't have enough to guard. Well, hopefully you manage to draw into a PG or something, but it's not really the best thing of what the deck do, because it always minus every turn, right? You call this, you discard one, then the order goes to the bottom deck, so you got -1. That -1 translates into opponent's damage, so I guess that's great. But yeah, it feels like a glass cannon, but it is a cannon, so it will obliterate your enemy. And if your enemy doesn't know about this deck, I think they will just default lose, because it's such a surprising move. Yeah, I think that's it for the deck explanation. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again on later videos. Bye bye.